Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today is April 8, 2023, and we're getting into the volume 56 of me answering your immigration related questions. As you can see, I have all your comments pulled up here in front of me. Before I begin, I'm going to mention I am not an immigration attorney. This is not a legal advice. All the information that I provide on this channel in my videos are directly from official government sources like USCIS, US Citizenship and Immigration Services, and of course the Department of State with their visa bulletin. So let's start with the very first question comment from Abdullah Suleiman. Hi, I have asked you before about my situation. Abdullah, I remember. Thank you for posting another question. I really appreciate that. My case is at NVC and my case was open to be processed. However, after I paid the fees, my visa category was changed from F2B to F1. Alright, so your petitioner, permanent resident, became a US citizen. And I have received a message in the CAC portal asking me if I wish to opt out from the conversion of F1 and remain in F2B. And currently I am not eligible to proceed and process my immigrant visa application. I sent to the NVC via inquiry form to reopen my case, and they reply back with the same message and refer me to the visa bulletin. Okay, you have already advised me previously not to opt out since F1 has more priority, but I'm still confused because according to the visa bulletin, the date of filing for F2B category is January 17 and my priority date is June 2017, while for F1 category, the date for filing is August 2016. Isn't better to opt out to F2B since the priority date is nearer than F1? Thank you so much, and I wish you could help me make the correct decision. Abdullah, thank you very much for your question. I really appreciate your trust, and coming back to this channel and asking me another question. I remember you asking this question initially, and it's a very interesting situation. I think for everyone who's watching, it would be helpful because sometimes, considering how long you have to wait for that immigrant visa to become available, sometimes during that wait, permanent residents that have initially filed the petition for their alien relative, they become US citizens. And now obviously the category, it updates, it becomes, it goes up in the preference chart that we can see in the visa bulletin. And it's really excellent question from Abdullah, because indeed, if you look at the visa bulletin, it does create the impression that F2B, the availability of the immigrant visas for the F2B categories are becoming faster available than for the F1, which kind of, if you think about it, doesn't make sense because F1 is priority one. Why is F2B going faster? So Abdullah, there are a few things that you need to consider here, you need to keep in mind. First one is the problem with the visa bulletin itself. As of right now, we know that all of these categories, except for one, F2A is an exception here on the final action dates chart. Here it's still, you see it's still showing current. It updated as of April 2023, F2A, finally. Everything else, however, F1, F2B, F3, F4, they have been like that without any movement for a very long time. As far as I started checking regularly on the visa bulletin, and I think I started probably a year and a half ago, it was on the same dates without any kind of movement, and that gives us basically the information showing that all these dates are not correct. Something is up, something is not right. And again, I always mention the artificial backlog that was on top of the existing backlog that we had because of the problem with the availability of immigrant visas. We also had the closures associated with literally everything whenever it comes to the immigration due to the pandemic. So for like a year and a half, 2 years, there was nothing processed, nothing was done. So we have that artificial backlog that affected obviously the dates that we have on the visa bulletin. So with that being said, Abdullah, a few things that you need to keep in mind. These are not correct dates, all right? They will update. I think hopefully they will update in the next couple months because we finally saw some movement on F2A. I think we will see some movement on the rest of the categories as well. As of right now, yes, F2B seems to be like a better deal compared to F1, but again, these dates are not updated. These dates are not correct. Okay, so that part we addressed. I just want you to keep in mind that this has not been updated for a very long time. Another thing that you need to keep in mind is that priority ladder, basically. And we have the F1 category on top, then there is the second priority category, third and fourth. The reason why it is broken down on these categories, yes, it's broken down because, different, whether you're a US citizen, whether you're inviting your, spouse or your children, whether they're married, unmarried, whether it's brother, sister, right? All of these different relationships, and obviously the different statuses of the petitioner, whether it's citizenship, US citizen, or legal permanent resident. But they are broken down into categories because there is a certain amount of visas that is available for each category. And here it's very vague explanation, but if you really dig into it, and I will, right now I will, just to kind of, because I really like to show, to present the information in a way that you can really understand it. And you can do your own research and you can dig into it as far down as you want. Instead of just saying, nah, do this, do that, because then there is really no substance to my words. I'm just saying things, and that's not why I started this channel. So if we look at the first priority categories, we have 23,400 plus any number not required for force preference. So F1, if there's something that is extra left over from F4, it gets on top, 23,400 availability of immigrant visas annually. All right. If we look at the F2B, we have 23% of the overall second preference limitation. And the second preference limitation has 114,200 annual immigrant visas availability. 23% of 114. My math is absolutely horrible. That's why I don't deal with math. I deal with the legal stuff. But you can probably do the calculation. And now we're going to actually dig even deeper. We're going to dig into the statistics. And we're going to go to visa statistics. And I will show you exactly the amount. And it looks like I've been already clicking on some stuff here. Let's go to 2022 and see what happened in 2022. Although 2022 is probably not a good year because there was this whole still closures from pandemic. How about we go to year earlier before pandemic, 2018 or 2017? Let's do 2017. So here you will find the PDF documents that show you the amount, the actual amount, and you can break it down by the category, you can break it down by the country. The one that I like to use is either immigrant visas issued and adjustments of status subject or preference immigrant visas issued. This is probably the easiest and is broken down by the chargeability areas. And obviously there's for employment, but we don't need that. We just need the family preferences. So we're going to click on that and it will give us the PDF document, and you will see for each country, for each continent, exactly how many immigrant visas for each different family categories were issued. For the first priority, second priority, here to third priority, and the fourth priority. So we really don't need to go through all that stuff. We have total for Africa, we have total for Asia. We're going to scroll down all the way down, and there we go. These are the numbers, the actual numbers that have been, the actual numbers of immigrant visas that have been issued for each category in the year 2017. So let's take a look. For the first priority, we have 22,807 that was issued. But for the second priority, the F2B, there is 23,819. Wow! That is more F2B. The second priority is doing better than the first priority. Okay, pretty much the same, but 1,000 more compared to this one. Which means it tells us that there wasn't extra availability for the first priority from the visa bulletin. If we look again on, I'm going to click on April. And we're going to scroll down here. For the first priority, there wasn't much extras from the fourth priority that were added on top of this. However, for the F2B, the 23% of the overall looks like they did get to that number, and it is actually a little bit more. All right, with that being said, let's go back to the statistics. We have the 2017. let's take a look at something more recent. Let's take a look at 2020. I'm gonna do the same thing. Open this, and we're gonna scroll down. And I'm sorry for if it's a little bit too much, but I like to really present the information and just make it as clear as possible. Okay, preference immigrant visas issued, family preferences. Let's take a look at 2020 now. We're gonna scroll all the way down, and as you can see, in 2020, first priority, only 7,500 were issued. And on the second priority, there were 11,000 that were issued. Okay, again, that can tell us a few things. It's either we didn't have any extras coming from the first priority that were added to the first priority, or maybe there wasn't as many applications as compared to the F2B. So more permanent residents compared to the US citizens. All right, let's look at even more recent stuff. We're gonna go to visa statistics again, and I'm gonna click on 2022. And same thing, family preferences. Scroll all the way down. And what do we have here? First priority, 17,000 immigrant visas issued. Second priority, 15,315. Wait a second. So now we have almost 2,000 more immigrant visas that were issued for the first priority compared to the second priority. How? How is that possible? Well, it's possible because technically for the first priority, you will have more immigrant visas available because by definition, it is first priority. And yes, in some cases, it might be more beneficial to stay with the second priority, but we cannot rely on the visa bulletin that we have in front of us. The information is not updated. If we look at the actual visa bulletin, April, the most recent one, these are not updated dates. And we also know that the F1 priority does have more weight over the second priority. Obviously, it's first priority. It's called first priority for a reason. US citizen will always have more, I guess, weight. And I know it sounds very artificial and very, bureaucratic because human being is a human being. And trust me, that's how I see it. But nevertheless, we are dealing with the system that breaks us down into these different priorities. And F1 priority will always have more priority than the second category. Okay, Abdullah, again, I'm very sorry for a very lengthy answer and very, very in-depth stuff. But with all of that being said, because we don't know what's going to happen with the visa bulletin in the next couple months, it should. The thing is, F1, it should be processed. The immigrant visas should be becoming available faster than compared to the F2B visa category. But as you can see, throughout the years, it's not always the case. And back in October 2021, I think, when the last time we saw some movement on one of these categories, I might be wrong. I think it might not be October. It might be something else. But the last time we saw the movement, yes, it was processed faster. The immigrant visas were becoming available faster in the F2B compared to F1. So with all of that being said, it really is up to you, whichever way you want to decide. I think as of right now, there is really it's more of a gamble. If you stay in F2B, it might be faster. If you switch to F1, it might be faster. We know for a fact that these dates are not correct. We know for a fact that F1 has more priority. Do you want to have more priority and wait a little bit longer than the second priority, which sounds weird, but it is possible. As you can see, statistically, in some of the cases, in some of the years, it is possible. And judging by the visa bulletin, the latest updates, it is possible. Or you want to go ahead and kind of secure yourself in the first priority and wait. There is no right and wrong. It really is up to you. It's your personal decision. What I would do personally is I would definitely switch to priority 1 category just because it is priority 1. And priority 1, as I just showed you with all of these numbers, it has more weight over the priority 2. So again, I'm very sorry for a very, very lengthy answer. I'm gonna post this to make sure that you have received notification, and we're gonna go move on to the next one from Gadir Zaloom. Thank you so much for the relieving answer. You're very welcome, Gadir. I'm glad that my answer was helpful. Moving on, we got a question from Sirgut. Sirgut, thank you for being publicly subscribed to this channel. Hey brother, after giving the DNA in US Embassy Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, my USCIS online case status changed to this. On September 13, 2022, received your response for evidence for your Form I-130 petition for alien relative. USCIS has begun working on your case again. We will send you a decision or notify you if we need something from you. And after a few days, I received a copy of the DNA results, 99,9900. My question is, what will my case status bring next? We will send you a decision means what? Priority date, December 26, 2016. You know I'm documentarily qualified by NVC on February 2023. F2B visa class. So Sirgut, you're also in F2B. We've just been talking about the F2B for like 15 minutes straight. Thank you. I wish you a good day. Sirgut, thank you. I appreciate your comment, and I appreciate you being publicly subscribed. So after you're done with all of that, because you're already documentarily qualified, the only other thing that they really would need to do is just to schedule you for an interview. So since your priority is 2016, we're gonna go to Visa Bulletin, F2B. We got June 2017. So you're behind, which means you are already ahead of the that artificial backlog curve that I keep talking about that we had from the pandemic. And you're about, wait, let's see, January 2017, and you are December 2016. Okay, so you're more, my math is absolutely horrible. So you're like 1 year ahead of the curve. And right now it looks like, at least judging by the F2A as of recent update, it looks like that artificial backlog curve is about September 2020, from April 2023, we go back to September 2020. That is like 2.5 years. And you're 1 year ahead already of that. So that means that you might potentially have to wait if nothing updates, because F2B, we keep seeing updates. For F2A, we just saw the update. So I'm thinking for everything else within the next couple of months, we will see some updates for the rest of the categories. So far looks like roughly it might possibly take another year for you to get that immigrant visa interview, because everything is already done. You're already documentarily qualified. The only thing literally you're waiting for is the availability of that immigrant visa. And judging by the same in the second priority F2A, it is about 2.5 years wait. And you've been already waiting extra a year over your priority date, which leaves us with about 1.5 years. So I'm thinking hopefully things speed up, and overall, you know, they will be able to catch up with this artificial backlog that they created themselves. Hopefully, I'm thinking within a year, you should be getting your interview. So good. And I know it's a long time, and trust me, I know I can relate myself, because I do have a petition waiting, and it's not very pleasant to wait, but at least we are finally getting some updates on the Visa Bulletin, so that's definitely good news. All right, let's move on to the next one from Pauline Hudson. Hello, my priority date is in 2014 and my case was documentary qualified in 2020. How much longer is the wait for an interview? Category F1. All right, so we are looking at the priority 1 category once again. So we're gonna open up the Visa Bulletin. I'm actually gonna close all this stuff right here. So if we look at the priority dates for F1, looks like, again, this hasn't been updated for a very long time, so this is very, very rough estimate. Right now, as of April 2023, very rough estimate because this hasn't been updated. They are issuing, the immigrant visas are becoming available for people that filed back in August 2016. So you have filed back in 2014, so you're already 2 years ahead of the curve, because you were already 2020 qualified, documentarily qualified, which means that back in 2020, your immigrant visa was either already available or was becoming around the corner becoming available. That's why they allowed you to become documentarily qualified, because they wait, in most cases, they wait for the closer to the availability of the immigrant visa before they allow you to become documentarily qualified. And you did back in 2020. Then obviously we had all this pandemic nonsense going on and everything was closed, nothing was being processed. So now you're just waiting for that artificial backlog to clear for that immigrant visa to become available. So since you are you are 2 years, 2 years looks like you are ahead of all this artificial backlog, and it seems like they are scheduling the interviews now for the people that have been documentarily qualified back in 2020. At least that's what we know as of recent update for the F2A. All right, second priority category, about 2.5 years, and you have 2 years ahead. So about 6 more months. About 6 more months for you. Again, Pauline, and for everyone who's watching, these estimates are very rough estimates. I'm just going by what we have from Visa Bulletin. These things can update next month, and it might look better, or it might look worse. We all hope that they will look better, but as of right now, as of the numbers, as of what we are seeing right now, this is really what I can give you. Got heart from Pauline. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate that my information is helpful. Moving further to Humble Family, do I have to print both applications, the N400 and the waiver? Yes. So that question was posted on the fee waiver request. Basically the form I-912, and the fee waiver request is what it is. If you're submitting an application or petition that has a fee, and some of these fees, we all know, immigrants, right? People who went through the process, did everything legally, USCIS, filing all these petitions. We know that some of these petitions are pretty expensive, and N400 is pretty expensive. I'm actually gonna take a look and tell you exactly how much it is, because I haven't used the USCIS in this video. So let's see, I'm gonna type in 400 and 400, there we go. Let's see, filing fee $640 plus the $85 biometric fee. That is very expensive. Okay, now there is an option, is there? Yes, there is an option to file this form online. And here's one thing that, whenever it comes to filing the forms online, if you are planning to file a fee waiver, a request to waive the fee, then you would have to submit that application by paper. I really hope that one day they figure out the way to do that online, so that you can file that fee waiver online as well. Kind of just file it as a separate form, or maybe file the original form online and then quickly just fill out the online for the 912, and just submit it kind of as a supplemental form for your existing. Unfortunately, there is no way right now to do that, so you would have to do both of the applications. Yes, so your N400 in paper, and then on top of it, just that, I think it's like 1 or 2 pages for the fee waiver. On top of that, basically requesting and the reasoning and all of that sort of stuff. And that's really it. So yes, it's going to be by paper. Let's move on to the next one. Mark Tungol, thank you for being publicly subscribed. Appreciate it. Where do I find I-130 form, for example? Do you know where? So I have idea what to do, fill out and submit in the form. Absolutely, Mark. Thank you for asking. I'm going to show you. So all of the information, whenever it comes to immigration, whatever immigration process we're talking about, you can find on USCIS.gov. This is the official government website for U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. This is their homepage. This is how it looks. We're going to go to Forms right here at the very top navigation menu, Forms. And then we're going to go to All Forms. We're going to click on that. And then you can either scroll down and find the form, or you can just type in here in the search 130, enter. And there we go, petition for alien relative. As you can see, it's available for online filing. And I would recommend, in all cases, except when you have to request a fee waiver, all right? Or, like, for example, some of the forms, like, for example, the I-539, which is the form to extend or change the non-immigrant status. If you do have more than one person on the application, if you do need to submit a form I-539A supplemental, then you would have to, in that case, you would have to file it by mail as well. So just a few scenarios where you would want to file it by mail, but if that's not the case for you, if you know nothing is holding you back, then definitely file it online. It makes it much easier, prevents unnecessary mistakes, and also much faster. Once you submit it and pay it online, that's it. It's already there at USCIS, ready for their review. And here you go. Here, this is the official page at USCIS for the I-130 application. Here, you can start your online process. You can take a look at the I-130 itself. There's the PDF files. You can open them and actually go through the I-130. And I've done a separate video specifically on I-130 on how to fill it out, you know, step by step. So you can check it out on this channel. It's very straightforward, just your personal information. But if you do have a question specifically for any of these paragraphs, any of these parts, obviously you can ask them here without any problems. Any questions you have, you're very welcome. But you can click on instructions here. It's also a PDF, and each individual part here is described in great detail. So all of the answers you can find here. But like I said, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask them, because if I didn't have questions from everyone who's watching, then I wouldn't have these videos. So yeah. All right, let's move on to the next question comment from Amit Falke. In this video, you said there is no cap for visa for spouse and child under 21 of LPR. So if my I-130 is approved and documentarily qualified, does the embassy in that country schedule visa, or they wait for final action date to be current? Okay, Amit, thank you for the question, and I'm sorry for the confusion. So whenever it comes specifically to the second priority, whenever it comes to the spouses and children under 21, of whether it's for US citizens, there is absolutely no visa cap. Once it's documentarily qualified, it's transferred to the US embassy, they schedule the interview. However, for the legal permanent residents, technically there is a cap. The reason why I was mentioning that there is no wait time, kind of like basically it's immediately transferred to US embassy as well, is because it was current. We had it current for a very long time, up until, unfortunately, we had this whole closures with the pandemic. So now, as of right now, literally, and you asked the question on volume 44, which I probably recorded last month, most likely. Literally, as of this month, April 2023, if we look at the visa bulletin, unfortunately, we now see a backlog of about 2.5 years on the F2A categories. It's really sad because this is if you look at the dates of filing graph, you still see it as current, which means that once you're documentarily qualified, your immigrant visa is available, and that's it. You just go for an interview at the US embassy and you'll get your visa. Not the case anymore, unfortunately, and this right here is a perfect reflection of the damage that was done during the closures for the whole pandemic situation. It's very sad, and I really feel I don't feel good giving not very good news to people, unfortunately. But this is the case with the F2A. I really hope that they catch up, because there's plenty of availability. Whenever it comes to second priority, there is a lot of availability for. That's why they were current. Not anymore though. So they ruined their own system. It's really sad. So about 2.5 years, unfortunately, according to what we have right now on the visa bulletin. Again, this might speed up, this might slow down. So even this is still a very rough estimate, because in the next few months, just because there is availability of immigrant visas, we might catch up, But we will have to see, we will have to judge. So hopefully we will see some positive changes. Again, every month the new visa bulletin comes out. I do a separate visa on it. So we will see. Hopefully in the next few months we will see some positive changes on the visa bulletin. All right, let's move on to the next one from DK Visual. I have an I-134A form since January 27 until now. I have no answer from the USCIS. What should I do? Okay, let's take a look. Thank you for your question. I'm gonna use this as an opportunity to demonstrate some navigation. We're gonna go to Tools and we're gonna go to Case Status Online. I'm sure you're already familiar with checking the case status, but we're gonna go to Processing Times. And I'm gonna see if there is a separate processing times for I-130A. I don't think there is. There's I-130 here, but there is no I-130A. Okay. The reason why there is no I-130A on this drop-down is because I-130A was sort of a recent addition. And I-130A is a sponsorship program for people that are in the countries that have a certain situation. It used to be for Honduras, Guatemala, a few other countries where you could sponsor an immigrant to come here to help them out, basically to get them out of the situation. And recently USCIS, they added it for Ukraine as well. So the whole program, I think it's called let me take a look and actually tell you. Uniting for Ukraine. This whole program right now is based on that I-130A. So they used to be very fast with this I-130A. They used to process them very quickly. But the more people find out about the form, the more people file. And now they made it available online. So obviously it's much easier to file. So a lot more people are filing. So before, it used to be within 30 days that they would give response. Now, as you can see, you are already waiting since January, and then we are already in April. So it's obviously taking longer and longer. It's really hard to tell as of right now what is going to be like, how long approximately they are taking as of right now. But judging by your comment, it's over 3 months now that, it is over February, March, and well, not over 3 months, it's over 2 months. My math is horrible, sorry about that. So over 2 months now that people are waiting, and it used to be within 30 days. They were trying to give those answers very quick. Why? Because again, the whole program is based on an emergency situation in a certain country. All right, so they should be processed fast, and this is taking really, really long if you think about it, because in an emergency situation, extra day is too long, you know. So it's really hard for me to answer. I would really encourage, if people are watching and they have I-134A and it has been recently approved, recently reviewed, or there was recently some kind of movement on the application in general, I would please encourage to answer and provide your own experiences. Because as of right now, that's really the only way we can make the judgment of what's going on and how long it takes. DK, unfortunately, I wish I could give you a little bit more information, but that's really all I have as of right now. Hopefully USCIS, they will add it here in the processing time section and we can take a look and see how long they take, but not as of right now. Okay, let's move on to the very last question comment for today, and the rest I will address in the next volume. Is from Olusesan Fafiolu, and I'm very sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name. I probably am. I petitioned for my 2 unmarried sons. They have interviews next month. Congratulations. I made $70,000 with my wife. I have a granddaughter as dependent. In addition, I gave affidavit to a couple. Will the amount still be enough for my 2 sons, or I should add a joint sponsor? Okay, Olusesan, excellent question. Here's the thing. Because they already have your sons, they already have the interview scheduled. It means that you were already documentarily qualified. If you are already documentarily qualified, it means that CAC, NVC, they have reviewed your sponsorship information and they accepted it and they approved it. Otherwise, they wouldn't. They would keep telling you like, oh no, you don't make enough money, you need a joint sponsor, before scheduling the interview. Since they already scheduled the interview, I think you should be good. You shouldn't worry about that, because if they didn't accept your income, they would have said, you need to provide more income, we can't schedule you the interview just yet. All right? Unless something changed with your financial situation, which I don't think that's the case, because once you're documentarily qualified, 6 months to a year, you're scheduled the interview. Yes, you do need to bring an updated tax return. So unless there was a major change, let's say you were making $70,000 in 2021 tax return, and for 2022 it dropped from 70 to like 40, right? Let's say, for example, and this is not the tax return that you submitted to the NVC, and now your sons are going to the interview with an updated income, with the most recent tax return, tax transcript, don't forget tax transcript, with them, right, for the 2022. Okay, now that situation might create a problem because it shows significantly less than the previous year. That was the most recent year for that you were showing to the NVC. Hopefully that makes sense and I'm not confusing you even more. So if that's not the case, then you shouldn't worry about anything. If it's the same documents that you have submitted, the same tax returns that you have submitted to NVC that they have approved, if that's the same stuff, then your sons should be good, should be going for interview. But I actually done a separate video that is on the minimum income that you need to show whenever it comes to sponsoring, petitioning for a alien relative. I have a separate video on this. It's called "What is the minimum income?" I think, to sponsor alien relative. I think that's what it's called, the video. And there I actually break down on how to calculate, how to pull up that information. So for your peace of mind, if after my answer you're still doubtful, check out that video, and with that video you will be able to calculate exactly whether what you're making is enough or if it's not enough. But I think you should be good. So thank you everyone for watching. I really appreciate your time. Really appreciate your trust that, because if you're asking me a question, you trust me that the answer that I will provide is not going to be, go and do something bad or do something illegal, So I really appreciate your trust. I really appreciate your time. God bless you all, and I will see you in the next video.